In this video, I'm going to be talking about grades and self-esteem and how you should mix the two together. So a lot of people judge themselves based on the grades that they have. Now, I don't mean just judging yourself whether an A grade student or not, but judging themselves on a personal level, on the view of how do you see yourself. So this is episode 004 of the Lesson from Failure, and I'm going to be talking about self-esteem. Why do people wrap their self-esteem in grades? Well, it's a very simple thing. If you go to a football team, right, professional footballers, their value is sort of like measured by how many scores, how many goals, how many passes. I actually don't know anything about soccer, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But you get what I mean. The value of a football player or a soccer player is measured by how good they are at that particular sport, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that grading system, right? It's perfectly normal because it's sport. People want to watch the best, so that's understandable. So what's the problem with sort of like grading in that? Well, the problem is not necessarily in the grading system. The problem is in how the individual then views themselves after that test or whatever system has been used to measure the efficiency at anything. That's where the problem is. So as an individual, for you, schoolwork, it's fine that people get graded. It's fine that people get tested. And it's fine that people get put in position 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, right? I'm not judging that part. The part I want to try and talk about is how do you see yourself? When you've been told you got an A grade, do you feel better about yourself as a person? When you get a D grade, do you still feel like you're still that same person who got that A grade? Right? And so when you find those differences, then we can quickly assume that some people have started to wrap their self-esteem, their self-image, how they see themselves based on the reflection of their grades. And that's a bad thing. That's a very bad thing. Different obviously from person to person. Certain people will always get high grades, so if they have that system of self-esteem, their self-esteem will always be high. Certain people might fluctuate in terms of like today you get an A, today E, tomorrow you get a B, the other day this happens, but it actually doesn't matter whether you're getting high grades, low grades, or you're in the middle, but you are way too valuable as an individual to be measuring yourself on a one event thing. You spend the whole year acquiring all this information. Just because you failed to deliver at this one particular day doesn't actually mean that you're a failure, right? Now, self-esteem plays a big part in your happiness, and your happiness plays a big part in you trying to establish the proper habits to be able to do something with your life in the future, right? If you're not confident in who you are, if you're not confident in yourself, you won't be able to carry out all these other challenges that life has for you, because as an individual, you're still focused on all these things that happened last week, last year, right? So just because last week you got a D grade, you're not feeling good about yourself, you won't be able to concentrate in that lesson the next time. You will lose the confidence because you've told yourself, I can't do this. When actually, maybe it's just that you didn't revise very well for it. Or maybe it's just that it's one of those topics that no matter how hard you study, you will never get them. Right? Whatever the problem is, that's not what we're discussing now. What you need to do is whenever something good happens or whenever something wrong happens, don't let that thing determine for you how good you feel about yourself. It's not worth it. You don't need anything. You don't need a nice car, a nice house. You don't need anyone for you to see how valuable you are. Not just to yourself, but to the people around you. Right? There's more to you than just the grades you produce. There's more to you than just the things you offer to other individuals. Whatever it is you're giving them, right? Those things are nothing compared to the value that's within you. It's intrinsic value. No one can take it away from you. No grade too low can take away that self-esteem if you don't allow it. If you don't allow it. Why? Because people who have a very good sense of who they are. People who have very good self-esteem can turn back through any situation. They can stand up whenever anything happens because they understand their value is not in the grades, it's not in anyone, it's not in anything. They're just who they are, and all they're trying to do is do the best to become the best version of themselves. You need to remove the emotion. You need to remove the baggage that getting good grades comes with. Remove it and just do school because you need to do school. No emotional attachment to it. No emotional attachment to it in the sense that don't let it get you down if you don't do well. Here's the thing. If you don't do well, you need to revise more. Find a strategy to improve your grades. It's simple. No need for you to feel bad. Like I said, you are just the best the way you are. All these are the things you're adding to them for you to become better. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there's anything that you need, anyone that you need in order for you to feel good about yourself. The better you feel about yourself, the more confident you are, the more you go out there. And the more you go out there trying different things, that's where more and new opportunities are found. Thanks everyone for watching.